Hello everyone, and welcome to another wavelength series. My name is Waveney. I am your leadership mindset coach, and I help leaders master their mindset, their communication, and develop influential leadership. Now, here's a big question. Are you ready to get on the same wavelength? Drop a thumbs up in the comments if you are ready to get on the same wavelength. Great. So, wouldn't it be great if you could actually listen to someone share their stories, share their losses, their wins, their experiences, take notes, apply it to your own life so you don't have to go through all the drama, all the heartache, all the things. You don't have to go through all of that. That you could just take what you needed and apply it to your life and tap into that success. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah. Well, today I am sharing with you lessons that I've learned in 2025. At first I thought, I'll share 5 lessons, but I think it may be 6 or so. Who's counting, right? So let's get into it. So these are some lessons that I personally learned this year. Now, I'm going to give a disclaimer. I may not be able to share the backstory of all of them, but I'm hoping that something that I will say in each of these lessons will resonate in your spirit. I am hoping that something I will say will give you the confirmation that you have been praying for, that you have been looking for, that you will receive that confirmation. So I'm putting that out there. All right. So if you want to get a pen, a paper, or some sort of writing instrument, or even using your phone to take notes, that will be great. All right. And I want for you also, if something resonates with you or if it's a confirmation, send me a WhatsApp, send me a message, and let me know how it has helped you. All right. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to share, and this is in no particular order, the first thing I wanted to share with you is about fulfillment, and it is something that I learned. So maybe about last year coming into this year, I started feeling this sense of emptiness, right? It was like something was missing, and I wasn't sure what it was. There was a change that happened in my 9 to 5, and I felt a little bit unsettled, a little bit uneasy, and I just didn't feel, I didn't have a name for the word, but I just felt a bit unsettled. Now, fast forward this year, going through this year, day in and day out, what I've come to realize is that that word, that thing that I could not name, that feeling that I could not name, was fulfillment. I didn't feel fulfilled. And what I've come to realize is many times we look for fulfillment in things outside of us. We look for fulfillment, a sense of fulfillment in people, in our jobs, in maybe our children. I don't have kids, but for those of you who do, but we look for that that feeling of satisfaction in things that are outside of us, and fulfillment does not. That feeling comes from within. I've come to understand that it comes from tapping into our purpose, understanding our purpose, returning to our purpose as an anchor, and tapping into that and fulfilling ourselves, doing those things that we enjoy, filling our cup, right? Resting when we need to rest, taking care of us, doing things because we want to. All these things give us a sense of fulfillment, things that feed our soul. And so it may be that you're going, and you just feel like you need to be here, there, and everywhere, and it's not working out for you, right? And maybe it's just that you need to rest. And so this year I experienced burnout in such a strange way that I didn't even know it was burnout. I'm still processing it. I'll probably do another video on it, because I did speak about 2 types of burnout like a few episodes ago. I'll link it down below so you can have a look if you didn't get to have a look. But what I've come to realize is fulfillment doesn't come from anything outside us. It comes from within, and we have to protect that. And so that's the first lesson I wanted to share with you. The second lesson I wanted to share with you is about yourself, ourself. You may have heard me said the phrase, the work is you. And as time go by, this year in particular, I've come to realize, even on a deeper energetic level, I think I knew this intellectually, like in your brain, like I know we work on ourselves, but as time goes on and I get more immersed in my coaching, and I learn about different coaching modalities, and I'm taking my coaching certification. So I am right now taking my master coaching certification, right? And it's deep work and it's great work. And I've come to understand on such an energetic level that the work is always us. It's so easy to look again outside, and we point fingers at people and say, this isn't happening, that isn't happening, this is the reason why, that is the reason why. And that may be true, and that may be so, but the work that is required for us to evolve, and for us to be conscious, and for us to show up as good humans, and for us to show up as our best selves, always lies with us. The responsibility is ours. Because doing the inner work, when somebody upsets us, or something is a trigger, or things are coming up from our past, or we are repeating patterns, we are doing things that we say we're not going to do anymore. We are trying to get past certain habits that we have. The work is us. The work is about us showing up. This work, when I talk about being an influential leader, the work ultimately is our responsibility, and it is us, right? I have here in my notes, focus on building good habits to be better humans. We need to work on our toxic, harmful traits, because we do have them. And this is the thing about working on yourself. It is brave work, and it is courageous work. It is the ability to face your own bullshit and face your own mess and say, listen, this is not a good thing for me. Like, I need to change. This is not a good habit for me. I need to change. It is the willingness to really become aware and really want to change. And many people don't do that. I am convinced that the more I am in this work of coaching and mindset, that we create our own problem. Like, most of the problems in our lives, we create them ourselves because of our thinking, right? So the work is us. And I'm not saying this to bash you. I am saying this so that it lands with you, and that it resonates, and that you understand that maybe there are patterns that are showing up in your life And what is required is for you to really take a closer, deeper look at yourself and ask yourself, how am I contributing to this? How am I contributing to this? Why do I feel this way about this thing or person? What is this trying to teach me? The work will always be about you, not anybody else. Nobody else has to change. We are not in control of that. Nobody else has to change, right? But when we change, when we decide that we are going to be better, when we decide to be in alignment with the best version of ourselves, that's when everything around us changes. The work is about you. All right. And so here's the third lesson that I learned this year. And like I mentioned, it is in no particular order. Silence is powerful. Silence is powerful. This year, I had the opportunity to really understand this lesson. For the past few months, was experiencing so many challenges in a particular area of my life. And I don't know where it came from, call it God. I chose to be quiet. I chose in different interactions with people to hold my tongue. I remember one particular incident that I was in a meeting and it took everything within me. I was controlling my emotions. I didn't get upset. My tone was even keeled, if that's the word. I was very calm. After the meeting, I had such a bad headache because I was controlling myself so much on the inside. And I've done that a couple times after without the headache, of course. What I want to say to you is silence is powerful. I often give this example to people. When you look at these mafia movies, right, with The Godfather and all these movies, The Godfather, I remember seeing this scene where the Godfather is sitting and he's having dinner and they drag this guy in and, he's asking questions in a quiet and calm way. The other people who are his minions or the people who work for him are usually the ruffians, the rough ones who are going to drag you in and beat you up. The Godfather is always the one who is calm, controlled, right? As a matter of fact, think about if you've ever had to interact with someone and they don't say anything, it makes you almost uneasy, right? And it happens in relationships. So maybe you are having a discussion with your partner, a heated argument. Maybe you're the one who's arguing, right? And they're not saying anything. And you're like, okay, what's going on? It makes you uneasy. Use silence as a strategy. Silence doesn't mean that you are soft or that you don't have any words. But I have learned this year to use silence as a tool for power, to convey my power, your inner power. And that is what people talk about when they talk about emotional mastery or emotional intelligence. Power doesn't always scream. As a matter of fact, it doesn't scream. The person who makes the most noise, the person who has the most to say, is not a powerful person. The person who is silent, that's the person who has the power. Take note of that lesson. The other lesson I want to share, what's this? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the fourth lesson that I've learned is, I want to tell you, is that you are the asset. You are the asset. I didn't use you are the person of value because of course you're valuable, you're human, you're here, you're God's design on this earth. You're his blueprint, but you are the asset. Many times we are in situations, or I speak to many persons who are in jobs, and they're in a job and they have this mindset like, I want this job, I will have to make a living, I want this job. Okay, fine, you want this job, and our jobs, and we are grateful, right? You're grateful. This is not to say you're ungrateful, but I want you to flip the script, because sometimes we go in with that mindset that we need a job more than they need us. And I want you to flip that. I want you to flip that for a second. And I want you to flip it, because many times if we go in with that attitude, we dumb ourselves down. We hide. We shrink back. We don't see the value that we bring to the space that we occupy. You are the asset. You are the asset. And I want you to start to think about that in every area of your life. You are the asset. When you realize that you are an asset, you're going to stop being afraid. You are the asset. Let me come closer and tell you that you are the asset. You are the asset. All right? This thing about us being humble, and you might struggle with it a bit, because we as a people haven't been taught to share our strengths and share our wins and share the things that we are great at, right? We haven't been thought that, and you might listen to this and you might feel a bit of resistance, and you might think, well, isn't that being arrogant? Isn't that being, too much? Isn't that being like, I'm not being humble? You know what's arrogant? You know what's really arrogant? That you are a child of God, that God has gifted you with those talents, those skills, those abilities, and you have decided that you will not use them. You will not speak about them. You will not share your gift with the world. You will not share your gifts with whomever. You will not speak up so that you can elevate and thereby pull someone up. That is being arrogant, right? You are the asset. All right, so that is number 4. I need to label these, right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5. Let me just do this right here. Number 5 lesson is, your life must be grounded in something bigger than you. Your life must be grounded in something spiritual. Your life must be grounded in God, or, whomever you believe in. Maybe you don't believe in God, but maybe your name for him is different. The point is, your life must be grounded in something that is spiritual, so that when you have challenging times, there's something for you to lean on. Because many times, and this year in particular for me, yes, I share with my brother, I share with my mom, I share with my partner, but there comes a time when there are journeys that no one can know how you're feeling. Like, they can't know. They can't know, and they can't help as much as they want to help. And so the only person that you could really tap into is something greater than yourself. That's God. And I think that having a spiritual foundation is key for success, because as the Bible says, in him I live and move and have my being. I remember a few weeks ago, I am in my coaching program. One of the coaches, she said, I will not work with anybody who doesn't believe in something. And I thought about it and I was like, wow. She said, I'm not going to work with anybody who doesn't believe in something greater than them, because we won't, there will come a point where we won't be able to move past certain things. When I share certain concepts and speak about certain things, they're not going to be able to get it, right? And I thought, wow. So your life must be grounded in something spiritual. All right? That's a spiritual base is the beginning of all success. And that is something that has even, been so true on an energetic level for me. I think that, sometimes we know things. There are two levels, maybe it's three. But for now, for this video, for me, there are two levels of knowing. One, like consciously, like knowledge, like it. And then there's knowing. There's that energetic, like drop in your spirit, like I know this to be true, right? And these are the lessons that I know to be true on an energetic level. So the other and the sixth, so this is the last one, lesson that I learned, and this was such a powerful one for me. And it created such a shift in me that I am more intentional about the words I use and the language that I use. And when people speak now, I hear things that I wouldn't have normally, heard. I listen. It almost seems like I'm listening on a deeper level. And this lesson was because of my coaching certification. And it is this. It is about the words, right? The words that we use. So the words you use determine the world you experience. I'll say it again and I'll share it. The words that you use determine the world you experience. And I know that you're going to say, well, I've heard about it. Words are powerful. Yes, words are powerful. But I've come to understand this at a deeper level. So let me give you an example. The word bridge, a bridge that you walk across, a bridge. The word bridge, right, in Spanish is masculine, right? There are languages like Spanish, French, these other languages, like things, nouns, that's what we call it. Sometimes things are masculine and feminine. So the word bridge is masculine, right? And in German, the word bridge is feminine. Why is this important? Where am I going with this? Stick with me. So if you're talking to someone from maybe who has a German background a German background, they may describe, and you're talking about a bridge, they may describe the bridge as being beautiful and elegant, and they're going to use those words to describe a bridge. Why are they using it that way? Because for them, the word bridge is masculine. It's feminine, sorry. If you're talking to someone in Spanish or with a Spanish background, not in Spanish, but with a Spanish background, they may use the word powerful and sturdy and strong to describe a bridge, because the word bridge in their language is masculine, right? And when you look at it from this angle, you realize that sometimes, many times, when we say certain words, there are meanings attached, there's an energy and a meaning attached to it. So think about nicknames, and there might be, have you ever had someone that you grew up with, and you grew up calling them a particular nickname, and maybe you haven't seen them in years, and then all of a sudden you go and you call them that name, and that's the name, you're not thinking about it, that's the name they responded to, and all of a sudden you get some kind of negative response from them. Oh, don't call me that name, my name is so and so. Why do you think that happens? It's because that person has recognized that the meaning of that name, they're not comfortable with it anymore. It's not who they are. It probably has a negative connotation. And now that they're an adult, they don't want to carry that energy with them. The words you use determine the world you experience. And I don't know if I did a great job of explaining that, but that for me has shifted in so many different ways. And so when people are speaking to me now, I am listening on a deeper level. When I'm about to speak, I'm choosing my words carefully. And it has totally transformed my life, like me as a coach, just learning that words, they are words, and it doesn't have to be, in my example that I gave of the bridge, it doesn't have to be something negative, but I just want to share with you that we're talking all the time, and we're talking to people with different backgrounds and different religions and different beliefs, and sometimes we're saying things and we're using words, and it's causing a trigger, it's causing an issue, they react a certain way, or they hear certain things, or they interpret, and their understanding of it is different. Because here's the thing, we can all say, like, I live in the Caribbean. Most of you who are looking at this, you're looking at me in the Caribbean, but in each Caribbean island, there's still the different culture. There's still different words that we use we use the same words, but it may mean different things. And so I want you to really sit with that, really sit with that. But that has been a huge lesson for me this year. And so these are the 6 lessons. I've shared this with you. These are the 6 lessons that I have learned this year that has impacted me really deeply, and I hope that something that I've said would resonate with you, or is a confirmation for you. It gives you the permission to do something that you've been thinking about or holding off on doing, or even it is the signal for you to stop doing a particular thing. And so thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Let me know, send me a DM, 663-3356. That is my WhatsApp. Send me a DM. Let me know how this resonates with you. And if you require much deeper work, if you require there are things that you've heard me spoken about and you want to learn more about it, I would be more than happy to help you as a mindset coach, as a leadership mindset coach. And so I'm linking my Calendly link below so you can schedule a call. Until then, I will speak to you and on another wavelength. Bye.